Hey, welcome back, YouTube. Good morning, friends. How's it going? Hope you're all doing great. Hopefully that didn't trip you out too bad where we had the cooling system break on one of the, I don't know, we could call it a server, I guess. Yeah, pretty trippy. This happened, this is the second longest shutdown of the markets in history due to a technical error. The first one being the World Trade Centers collapsing and them changing the algorithm from people actually moving the markets to a artificial intelligence delivery engine, price delivery engine we call IPDA. So, wow, on the last update I gave you guys, we were just hanging out in the daily chart, just wondering, in the weekly chart, just wondering where could possibly we be off to? And I was just guessing the purple box. And looks like my guess was correct. So we're almost reaching that now. This will be the weekly close, and I'm loving it. I am loving it. Like, I'm excited. Aren't you excited? I know. Some of you guys are saying, oh, but ICT said that we were going to collapse. And he also said we could make another higher high too. And, you know, I've been through his mentorships for years now. And he's been saying we're going to get a doomed black swan drop for about 10 years in a row. So, yeah, we just keep repricing higher. So, yeah. Look, don't read too deep into his doom calls because, you know, on one hand, it seems like he does it just to throw the haters off because, especially the phonies, because here's what happens, okay? The phonies who are in his Telegram channel and on his YouTube and Twitter, they grasp onto everything he says and they'll use him as a bias, and he knows this. So these phonies will go back to their students and go, oh yeah, this is what's happening. You know, we're gonna get this doom drop. Meanwhile, you know, he could have been, you know, telling a tale, and he does this to throw them off on purpose. So, you know, this is how you weed out the phonies from the real G's who can actually call out price and read price without any sort of external influence being from Michael or anyone else. All right. So, you know, I do take what he says to heart, but at the same time, I know how to read price. So if things that I see aren't in alignment with what he's saying, I'm not, you know, several times now this has happened. And guess what? It's not, I wouldn't say that he's wrong. You know, I would say he's offside, but maybe he did it on purpose. Okay. That's just what happens. And then the people who don't know Michael and don't know how he operates, they'll go, oh, see, he didn't blah, blah, blah. He doesn't know nothing. And it's just like, man, go take a knee. Okay. Go take a knee, commie. So yeah, this is where we're at. This is what we got. That shutdown was pretty ruthless and unexpected. You know, I told you guys I would launch a live today, and, you know, if everything was in alignment, that I would, you know, maybe take a trade and see what happened. And then the market shut down. So, and then it opened up at 8:30 a.m. EST this morning. So yeah, most of us, me and my private students, we sat this out. And well, most of us, some of you guys took a scalpy poo, little payday. Good for you guys. Good job. And so, yeah, how's everybody doing? 1 to 100 in the chat. How are you guys doing? How was your Thanksgiving? Was it filled with turkey and goods? And did you share with Outer Worlders. Yeah. So I'm just happy that, last week I was completely offside. Last week I was looking for a big greenie like this one. And it was just because we had found some sensitivity off of this order block here and we were above my support level here. So this was the level that I was looking to get back above here this week. And we did that. Just bram, wee. So I'm happy with this. I'm really happy. We're going to have a lot to sink our teeth into coming up here. It looks like we're going to get a phenomenal higher high in the trend. And I'm jiggy with it. I like this a lot. Let's take a look at our daily chart and see what's going on. So that purple box here was my support and resistance level for the week. And we found some sensitivity and got back above after sweeping sell side liquidity. And essentially I'm aiming for these relative equal highs up here. I don't think we'll get that this week, Obvi. And, who knows? It might get in a rush. It might be in a rush to get up there for the PM session. I literally don't know. All I want is the purple box, and we're practically there. I think we're like $3 off or something. So very, very cool. Like, I got goosebumps. I'm happy. I'm excited. I'm really excited. All right. So we had Friday here front running the swing low for our daily swing low here in the discount. That's that sell side liquidity sweep. Front ran this swing low here. Ended up materializing a phenomenal move after digging down. I think it was a 4-hour fair value gap, digging through the support level, but that's okay. We allow some wickage. And I think that was the last trade I took was, I took a L here and then a win, catching that ride back to the upside. I just wanted to see this candle turn green again, and I got it. And then I sat out Wednesday, sat out Thursday. Look at that. There is no Thursday candle. Yeah, that's Thanksgiving. And now we got Friday. And we're just about reaching into my targets. That's pretty sweet. Let's just go take a peek at a 4-hour chart and see what's going on. So this is that fair value gap that I had to key off of here. Just digging in a little bit into consequent encroachment. Not too bad. Not too bad. If you are versed in your order flow skills, you will see that down close candles are supporting price, 2 targets, and that's exactly what we want to see. And we got it. So, happy camper over here. Let's check out a 2-hour chart. Just take a looky poo. And we got a very nice swing low in here. Look at how that swing low kept. It took that low, but not that candle's low, and held the swing low here. And then she materialized a nice move here. We had a new week opening gap here. We filled it in, hawked to it out, flipped the support level, used it as support. It's all about the close of the candles. Look at the 2-hour candle not closing below mean threshold of that mitigation block. This as well coming down and reclaiming the fair value gap. Look at the precision there. Boop. Comes up, closes above down close candle, and we continue on our journey. Pretty cool. I mean, if you call this a breaker, I wouldn't disagree with you, but it's more of a mitigation block than anything, in my opinion. And yeah, some more fair value gaps and down close candles supporting price all the way to targets, and boop. Who else can do that? Not many. Feels good, man. So, what now? What now? Well, let's take a look at what happened today. And in throughout last night, it was funny because I was looking for a ride down into here, this PM session, and twice it looked like it was going to give it to me, didn't. And then Thursday up in here, just complete gong show. And then we have this new day opening gap here, or vacuum block if you're in a daily chart. Fills it, rips out of it. I was telling my private students today that if I was going to guess, if it wanted to go somewhere, I would think it would want to go up and reprice into my area, which we pretty much got. So I'm just going to say target acquired, even though it's a few bucks off, no big deal. And yeah, I slept in today just because when things like that happen, you want to give price action its wiggle room. You know what I mean? Like, just let it be a jerk. Don't go in there trying to hit it because you just need to get in on something. Yeah, don't do that. Just let everybody else get wrecked. Let the week close, and we'll just move on from there. I know it's not sexy, but one of the things that gives me my superpower is the ability to sit out when there's nothing to do, or when the market environment is really sketchy, like it is now. Not trading is knowing when to sit out, when to walk away, when to be content. These are the things that should go viral, but don't. And I mean, my phenomenal price calls, they don't go viral either. I don't get it, but you got all these knuckleheads who will champion and cherry pick their one short after they've been calling short the entire year. And then once it does, they're like, oh yeah, and they got 650,000 views on their tweets and on their YouTube videos when they just totally suck. I find it kind of like intriguing, actually. It just shows how rigged everything really is. And these people who think they know what time it is, they don't. But the crowd loves to get wrecked. The crowd has Stockholm syndrome like you wouldn't believe. Just going to open up my YouTube, get my chat in my face here. And the Dow is pretty strong. That's pretty sweet. I like that. It means that we can get an alt season here. I know that term is illegal now. We're not supposed to call it alt season anymore. So no doom. What's up? Shout out Wildberries. What's up, Martin? MG. What's up, brother? MX Alex. What's up, bro? Who else we got? Staz, Rick Ritchie. Shout out everybody. So I got you guys didn't have a good Thanksgiving. I got no 100s in the chat. Crazy. What's up, Last Lap? Bomb prediction has been around since the 70s. The end is near. I know. It'll be the boy who cried wolf too, right? Because it'll be like, it's just funny I put it that way too, because, for the last 10, 12 years, ICT's been calling for a massive dune drop that we have never gotten. And then once we finally get it, he'll be like, see, I told you. Greedy during Shabbat. Yeah, I bet. Hey, Martin's Peacock and attaboy. There's a new 4-hour fair value gap maybe possibly going to be used to skyrocket into price into your targets. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm down with it. ICT works with CZ. That's so funny. Yeah, it's so funny. Just look. Bitcoin is algorithmic. Sorry to break it to you. That unicorn sailed. That ship sailed long ago. When they put a CME contract on that sucker, that was it. That was it. So Ethereum's catching up. Solana's gonna catch up. They've all got CME contracts on them now. So yeah, welcome to the rigged world. Yeah, it's not. Anyway, I want to go into it, but whatever. It doesn't matter. If you want to believe that there are, actors that are moving the market around, if that helps you, then good. So yeah, I just wanted to go over some price and just go over some things and let you know that everything's fine. They're not changing the algorithm. It was just a cooling issue with one of the, I don't know if you call it server or like one of the mechanical things. The algorithm's already changed. It's called crypto. So do with that information what you will. And so we're just going to sit here and be good little traders, not go too hard, just let it do its job. And now that we have this information, we've got something nice to bite into next week, okay? And next month. If I was going to guess, out of any year that we would get a Santa Claus rally, it would be this one. And only because price action's been so lethargic and really spotty and when we're looking for price runs. So it's just a guess. And don't get too hopped up. Just because we get a Santa Claus rally, if we do, It wouldn't be every day. It wouldn't be all week, every week, and all month. Okay. It would just be like a few select days where we'll get our low resistance liquidity runs scheduled. The government's reopened. You know, they're cutting rates. They're going to fire Powell. Like, we got some good things that are looking up. So, you know, it's really easy to doom and gloom when we've been all waiting. Well, most of us been waiting 5 years for a bull run. And Bitcoin stole the show, as usual. That's usually what happens. It'll steal the show, and then Bitcoin will reprice lower while Ethereum and the altcoins get their little 15 minutes of fame. So that's kind of what we've been waiting for. And look, I understand that, you know, many people are saying, you know, the cycle's broken. And then you got other people saying that it's still on, the 4-year cycle's still on, and they're all selling. Like, that's what you see in the altcoins is the weak hands getting out. All right. I don't see a cycle broken. I see an extended cycle, if that makes any sense. You know, it was never about the halvening. It was the cycle was never about the Bitcoin halvening, ever. It never was. And if you don't know traditional finance before you came into crypto, you won't see this. You'll just think that, oh yeah, the halvening is what makes the altcoins go up. No, that's not it at all. Bitcoin has nothing to do with altcoins at all. That's why you'll see Bitcoin has made extreme all-time high while the altcoins didn't do nothing, right? And it's the same with Ethereum. Ethereum didn't do nothing either. So, you know, if you understand that the altcoins are tied to Ethereum via smart contract, then you start to figure out that we need Ethereum to start ripping for us to get that nice payday. And we've been in a very, very, very stagnant business cycle, and, you know, rightfully so. But some things are going on, and it's looking really good behind the scenes. I won't go too deep into it, but it looks like there's some rejuvenation coming. And if I'm wrong, then I'm wrong. But people can call black swans, and I can call white swans. It's just the way it is. So, you know, we typically railroad retail with a high degree of consistency and precision. And yeah, that's pretty much what we do back here. So forecasted an ugly morning this morning, and that's exactly what we got. However, down closed candle supporting price. I don't see an algorithm broken. Do you? Nope, I don't. Did that shut down again? Did we break again? Yo, we broken again. Hey, wake up. Timer, clock down, wake up. Babe, the algorithm's broken again. It's broken again. The algorithm. What holiday? Yesterday and today are. Oh, okay. Okay. All right, good news. I guess we're taking an early day. Oh, for crying out loud. Oh, man. So, hey, we got our weekly close. You guys are going to get a little sneak peek as to what's going to happen next week. Oops. Oh, that's freaking awesome. That's good news, you guys. So we didn't quite hit the purple box, but we got up into, you know, just about, it was like a few bucks off, no big deal. Yeah, so I'm going to be looking for this for sure. So look, there's a little gap in here, right? So that candle's closed and that candle's open right there. That's going to be a very nice sensitive price point. Now it can operate like that purple box from last week. We could dip through it, that's fine. But if we do, this is where I'd want to see the sensitivity. It's pretty bright. Turn that down a bit. There we go. Nice. So we've got that, and you know, it seems to price action really likes that area. So if we're gonna look, I'm not opposed to the idea that, like, I'm definitely mentally prepared for this to happen. It doesn't have to, but I've seen this plenty of times. Let's say we hit half of the purple box and then just freaking sink. Okay. We'll melt through this like butter, like a hot knife in butter, just melt right through it. Okay. This price range in here is balanced. So that's why you're seeing the violence from this specific price zone here. So I'm not opposed to the idea that we just melt through this sucker, because that it is on the table. And I'm not trying to call both directions, but if we start losing the upper quadrant of, if we start losing this here, I'm just going to assume that we're going to dump. Okay. So that'll be my line in the sand, basically. If it does hit half of the order block and find sensitivity, then great. But if we start losing, this candle here, I'm just going to assume we're going to start our death drop. But just for now, order flow looks really bullish. Like it does. It does. It looks really bullish. Now, typically in like a 1 or 5 minute chart, if I see this crap here, this wiggle to the up, just high resistance liquidity run, doesn't want to do it quick. Typically, I'm looking for a big doom drop right into that inefficiency right here. So if we do lose half of that candle, I'm immediately aiming for this guy, and I'll be stuck on that bias until it proves me otherwise. But just for now, this is where we're at. So I'm going to just go with what we got here. Okay, so yeah, I'm going to be using that as a support level. I'll be aiming for a previous week high here for next week. And, December's coming, Christmas is coming. Just because I say that we could get a Santa Claus rally, don't think that that's like, it has to be, okay? I have an expectation, and if price action's in agreement with that, then I will act accordingly, okay? I'm making a game plan, and I'm going to set aside time to execute on this game plan as long as it's in my favor. If price action is in agreement with me, then I will take a setup and engage with price. If it's not in agreement with me, I'm going to sit on the sidelines. Okay, have that attitude coming in through November and into December. Okay, don't just go and try hit, this might be it, this could be it. That's not your thing. This is it. That's my thing. It's in. We're on higher time frames. The model's present. It's clear. Pay yourself quickly. Leave a runner. Capitalize on what the day might have to offer, and close that sucker at about 3 to 4 p.m. All right. Yeah. So, well, I didn't even realize we got early day today. So that kind of took me by surprise. Should probably pay more attention. I'll just blame MG. Why didn't you tell me? Who else we got in here? What's up, man? Good morning, friend. Yeah. So my negative 90% bags have a chance? Yes. Just don't sell. Okay? Bull runs don't die on skepticism. They die on euphoria. We haven't seen euphoria yet. And if you want to go and cherry pick a couple of altcoins that ended up ripping past their all-time highs, you're not doing yourselves any favors, okay? Those cherry pick coins, that's not a bull run. That's just an odd coin that decided to see friendship, all right? And, just as a warning, don't go rotating your negative 90% bags to go buy green candles. That's how people are screwing up in Pulse Chain, okay? They sold their sack. They went 90% negative on their sack, then rotated into PDI, and then it dipped 90%. And then they, rotated that negative 90% into something else that dumped. Just stay convicted. The best advice I could possibly give you as an investor is just to stay convicted. Obviously not financial advice. If you need the money, if you need to pay bills, don't sell everything. Just, skim some off the top of each thing, and just whatever. You gotta sleep well, okay? You're not waking up at 3 a.m. because you have parasites and you're checking out the clock and you're going, oh my goodness, am I rich? Do I have to wake up to go to work today? Don't do that to yourself, okay? It has been very painful, very, very painful. So just be easy on yourselves, okay? Take what you do what you got to do. Take care of business. Okay, have this on your chart as well. This is the purple shaded area. I would like to see us start cruising up here. We open, trade down a bit, where just one of these two price points, and then start working our way on up. We could even see sensitivity right off of that candle. That would be sweet. We can get our butts going. If we were to play the swing low model on a weekly chart, what would we be aiming for? Well, I'd be taking this down close candle here, maybe even both of these, but just to contract the range and give myself some low-hanging fruit targets. I'm going to take that order block there and just see where these deviations land. So we got above half of this order block here and not quite sweeping that all-time high. So now I'm just going to do that. Oh, suddenly those two levels align very nicely. That one aligned with that one quite well, actually. Pretty dang close, if you ask me. So the 1.5 deviation is the one deviation. So I'll show you what that means. So we got one deviation if you pull from both those candles. And then if you pull back to there, see how those two levels align really nicely? So I like that. And then the second deviation here, clearing that all-time high. So that's what I'll be using for targets when and if we get up in there. Yes, BTC yearly chart looking hot with compression too. Nice. MG, no charts closed today, 1.15. Thank you very much. Yeah. Closes earlier today. No TGIF. No, not at all. These holidays and this thing is, yeah. Yeah. Oh, hey, thanks for pointing that out too. Let's see where this 30% lines up. Look at that puppy. So the 30% retracement kind of lands inside of this little baby inefficiency right here. I think there's a little gap there. And also dang near that bullish order block level. And then look at the 20% retracement is exactly half of the old week opening. What was this? Yeah, we're in a weekly chart. So this old week opening gap here, the midway point is freaking perfect. Perfect. I think that's 50 cents off. One says 75, one says 25. Sweet. Yeah, so happy camper here. Onside, profitable. This week was pretty sweet. I traded Monday, Tuesday. Didn't do nothing all the rest of the week. It was pretty awesome. Honey, the algorithm is broken. Okay, so just curious. Thinking there might be a TGIF today was obviously offside. Any insights as to why that might have been a poor choice? Yeah, because the markets are closed early. We likely would have gotten something retracey if, so we can use the TGIF that we were anticipating today for our retracement for next week. Does that make sense? We'll likely still hit that price point. The sensitivity you mentioned on the W chart, where your quadrants are currently positioned, aligns with the upper quadrant of the 4-hour fair value gap, definitely signaling something interesting. Ooh, Alex, I like it. Non-farm employment change on Wednesday. Yep, yeah, so NFP week next week, protocol. See if there's any banking holidays next week. I don't think there is. And, Monday will be favorable. Tuesdays, use discernment. Wednesday, no trading after 9:30. Thursday, no trading. Friday, come in after NFP. And sir, another new question with holidays. Is that a real weekly close? Yes, sir. What would you consider the 9 a.m. candle on the 5-minute? A green candle? I'm not sure what you mean. But like, not only is it 9 a.m., you haven't swept liquidity or hit an inefficiency yet. So I wouldn't be trying to consider that an order block. When you're using order blocks, it's kind of important that they hit either a higher time frame discount array if you're bullish or a pool of liquidity. That's when you're looking for the algorithm to do the switcheroo, right? So I'm not really considering that anything, if that's what you mean. Yeah. Yeah, so man, I didn't really know that there was you meant 10 a.m. 10. Yeah, there's your order block right there. She just wanted to be a butt face. We kind of called this out last night when I sent you guys the message. Just don't go too hard in trading when this thing finally opens back up. It's likely going to be a prick. And yeah, you probably got your finger pricked a few times trying to catch that puppy. Next banking holiday, December 25th. Nice. Well, then I want a refund. Stas, you're awesome. Yeah, so that was definitely a bullish order block. Swept liquidity. It was just being kind of ruthless about it. Yeah. And then look at how grouchy the morning session was. Yeah. And then look at right at lunchtime. Open, low, high, close. Beautiful 90-minute cycle in there. Giving it up for lunchtime. Pretty cool. So yeah, I was, hoping we'd see my targets today. Fell a little bit shy. What did we got? $4.99, $5.10. So we got $11 off my targets. We'll likely see that right at the open. Just open, spike up, come crashing down for our price points, and then get back on up. So, yeah, this is I'm excited. I'm really excited. Yeah. You gotta get a coupon status. So yeah, well, I hope you guys had a great Thanksgiving weekend and cherishing your families, giving thanks for all of our blessings. And I definitely did. Even though I'm in Canada, I still celebrated with you guys. We're gonna be USA soon enough. Just keep on keeping on, you guys. Have a very nice weekend. Stay relaxed. Go into that Bitcoin 1 and 5 minute chart if you want to study your 90-minute cycles. There's a whole universe in there. Like if you're bored and you need something to study, there's a whole universe in that 1 and 5 minute cycles. Use your 2-hour chart for a higher time frame bias, and use the good old purge and revert as a means to study your liquidity runs. Why BTC, not NQ? Well, because NQ doesn't reprice over the weekend. So if you guys want to practice and study, you can go into Bitcoin, something that moves on the weekend, and just go and use your premium and discount skills with your liquidity sweeps and your order blocks. Yeah, it's not an encouragement to go and trade it, but it's a very neat study tool because the weekends typically don't move. And as you guys have become more, as you're becoming more self-aware, you'll notice that on the good days where everything's favorable on side, you don't have to question nothing, kind of like this day here, it's Tuesday here, we dropped. And that was my first trade in here that I took a L on. And my second trade was the turtle soup there, the 4-hour fair value gap. And this thing was just obvious. Nice accumulation range, snaps down, does the thing. And just, these are the days, even though this was kind of, high resistance in here for that little bit, even though, it was a little grouchy, these are the days where you guys do phenomenal. You guys do absolutely great in these days. And then you have days like this where things just aren't obvious. Things are really grouchy. And, it's these here that typically you guys are just destroying yourselves or disappearing. You don't send me nothing because, you hit a day like this and you're just like, yes, I'm a phenomenal trader now. But then when we get into garbage like this, you're like, what the hell's going on with me? Why is this? Like, even I was mentioning, like, if I was to take a position, I would have been turtle soup short off this. And I might have seen an exit, but it definitely would have round tripped me. Right. And when it doesn't, and then so, it makes its little thing and rises on up and then garbly all the rest of the day. This is where my friends destroy themselves. You guys do good when it's, favorable. And then when it's not, you have to start over. And so instead of just taking your max daily loss, 200, $500, and then getting it back when, I'm not going to try and say that was great, but if you're instead of starting completely over, you're only regaining your previous daily loss. So just use that as some motivation moving forward and how to manage yourself appropriately in these horrible market conditions that you don't want to be starting all over. Just learn how to take your loss like a champ already, right? Because this is what is typically destroying you. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, for the weekend. Yeah. Yepper, BTC is definitely a predictor for the open of NQ on Sunday. Yeah, that's some good insight you got there. Absolutely. If BTC starts dynamically moving over the weekend, you're likely going to see a new week opening gap on the NASDAQ and ES. Absolutely. Well, you guys take care of yourselves. Be close with your family. Rejuvenate that mental capital. Go into December with some very low expectations of the marketplace, yourselves, even me. It's going to be mostly what I'm going to be doing with you guys is just going to be strictly obvious stuff, things that, scream, yes, we're going to do this now. And we'll be prepared to be offside for that. So yes, happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Enjoy your weekend. Replenish that mental capital. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. And be safe.